It's Monday, September 22nd, 2014. This is PSN News. Tonight we'll have the latest on the search for the suspect in the state trooper shooting.
We'll also get up close and personal with this year's homecoming MCs coming up on PSN News.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Maxwell Massey.
And I'm Alexandria Brown. Up to 400 law enforcement officers are still searching for Eric Freen, the wanted survivalist responsible for the Pennsylvania trooper barracks ambush that left one officer dead. Police officers, along with the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are focused on the woods not far from Freen's home in Canadensis. Local schools have been closed and hunters have been asked to avoid the woods in the area. The Pennsylvania State Police have warned citizens that Freen is possibly armed, but said there is no indication that Freen is a danger to anyone other than law enforcement.
A man was arrested on Friday for charging at the White House. Omar Gonzalez, an Iraq war veteran, apparently suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, was armed with a knife when he climbed a fence and made it to the executive mansion. When authorities searched his car, they found more than 800 rounds of ammunition, 2 hatchets, and a machete. President Barack Obama and his family had already departed for the weekend. The following day, a man in a vehicle attempted to breach the barricaded entryway and was also arrested. The Secret Service said they will be increasing security around the White House and starting a review of the response, including a physical assessment of the area and interviews with involved personnel.
The White House launched the It's On Us campaign on Friday in an effort to end sexual assaults on college campuses. The campaign enlists the support of the NCAA, celebrities, and students at nearly 200 colleges. The campaign was created by the White House Task Force to protect students from sexual assault. Its goal is to use public awareness and education to change the perception of sexual assault and increase bystander prevention. Both President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden say they are committed to making sexual assault socially unacceptable.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell apologized for his handling of the Ray Rice scandal in a press conference held on Friday. Rice, a running back on the Baltimore Ravens, was indefinitely suspended after a video of him abusing his wife was released by TMZ. Although calls have been made for the commissioner to step down, Goodell said he was not considering to do so. Instead, he announced the creation of a committee to review the NFL's personal conduct policy, which will be in place by the Super Bowl. Goodell also announced that all NFL players and staff will undergo a training and education on preventing domestic violence and sexual assault next month.
More than 300,000 people marched through the streets of New York City this Sunday in what is being called the largest climate change demonstration in history. The People's Climate March took place in Midtown Manhattan, and the march is the first in a series of events held this week to raise awareness of global warming before the United Nations Summit on Tuesday, where 125 nations will meet to create international initiatives to limit global warming. It is the first time in 5 years that world leaders have gathered to summit to have world leaders pledge emissions cuts that could become part of a global agreement to be approved at UN climate talks next year in Paris.
The debate over net neutrality has been at the forefront of the news these past few months. But what do Penn State students think about it? Leah Corbo had to ask.
Net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers and government should treat all data on the internet equally, not discriminating or charging differently by user, content, site, platform, or application. However, major internet providers wish to block or slow down access to content that does not pay a toll to reach consumers, therefore restricting user access to certain websites. We asked Penn State students their opinion on the issue.
I think anyone should be able to go on whatever they want on the internet. I can see where it could be some troubles if there's like inappropriate sites that people don't want to be seen, but in general, I think they should be able to go on whatever site they want.
I think the access to information and whatever information you want is really important, especially in democracy like the United States. I think the internet's been huge in the development of the whole world, but specifically from our standpoint, it's been massive in different sort of movements in the U.S. So always for that to continue.
Don't know what exactly they're censoring, but we pay you guys to provide internet. That's it, not to censor our decisions on what websites we choose to go on and what sites we choose to see.
I feel like just because a company wants to make more money, they shouldn't be disrupting the experience of other people by slowing down their internet and making them wait longer so they become frustrated.
I do have a problem with that because whenever I go on the internet, it's free. I'm supposed to be able to view what I want to view. I think that's a general opinion. And if someone were to be steering me in a certain direction, then I guess I would have a problem with it.
For PS
8 Ebola aid workers and journalists were murdered and dumped in a latrine in a small village in Guinea last week. The killers reportedly used machetes and clubs to commit the murders and were trying to raise awareness over their distrust of the team and for the disease. The Guinean government condemned the murders and vowed to bring the killers to justice. Security forces have been deployed to support the investigation, and 6 people have been arrested so far.
2 men were charged on Thursday in connection with an ISIS-related terror plot that was to be carried out in Australia. Prime Minister Tony Abbott said authorities obtained intelligence that the 2 men were planning to kidnap a public citizen, behead him or her, and then drape the victim in an ISIS flag. The men were found after police conducted more than 24 searches throughout Sydney, during which several people were detained. Only days earlier, Australia had raised its terror alert to high after committing to help the international community, including the United States, fight ISIS.
A group of scammers has been targeting Penn State students. Find out how coming up.
My resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Penn State Altoona fraternity Phi Sigma Kappa has been suspended for 6 years over hazing allegations. The fraternity is currently under investigation by police in relation to the death of Marquise Braham. Braham was a freshman brother of the fraternity who jumped off the roof of a Marriott hotel in Long Island last spring break. Braham's family believes his death was caused by hazing due to text messages found on his phone referencing being forced to use drugs and shoplift as part of the pledging process. Phi Sigma Kappa is now no longer able to use university facilities, affiliate with Penn State, or participate in events on or off campus.
According to Penn State Police, telephone scammers have been bothering Penn State students since the beginning of September. Scammers have increased their credibility by claiming they are from a legitimate agency and citing personal information that was found on victims' social media pages. Several students have been targeted by this scam and are asked to monitor their bank accounts and personal statements. These incidents serve as a reminder to students to be careful when giving out personal information over the phone.
Online court documents were released on Thursday, stating that the motion by the Paterno estate to compel discovery of documents from the NCAA was overruled. Judge John Lee ruled that the motion was premature because the NCAA indicated the requested documents would be provided when a protective order was filed. This protective order was entered by the court on September 11th, which also happened to be the same day Leet ruled the Paterno estate had legal standings to sue the NCAA.
Last Friday, New Jersey Advanced Media reported that Rutgers athletic director Julie Herman had made a joke about the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse case in a fundraising meeting. Multiple sources said that during the meeting, which occurred last fall, Herman told them to reach out and touch the donors, but not in a Sandusky way. The university acknowledged on Friday that Herman had made the comment but said it was not directed at Penn State. This comes only days after Herman issued an apology to Penn State on behalf of the Rutgers football fans who made shirts and signs referring to Sandusky during the Penn State-Rutgers football game.
Motional speaker Scott Freed kicked off his international speaking tour here at Penn State. Reporter Hunter Hurlbert has more.
Robeson Center, where HIV survivor and motivational speaker Scott Freed is speaking about HIV, AIDS, and how to practice safe sexual behavior. This event kicks off an international speaking series that aims to spread awareness for the prevention of this disease.
Scott Freed, a renowned speaker from Long Island, New York, has devoted over 2 decades of his life to lecturing throughout the nation and the world, giving talks in Israel, Holland, and Honduras, to name a few. He is a decorated lecturer and has written multiple books dealing with topics ranging from sexual responsibility to alcohol and drug abuse. We sat down with Mr. Freed, who said this of what he hopes students will take away from his lecture.
First and foremost, use a condom. It's a lot cheaper than HIV meds. Just seriously, use a condom. You don't need to get any STIs. Use a condom. Second to that, what I said over and over, these are my 4 universal truths that I believe we're born with, and then we surrender as we get older because of puberty and the recklessness of adolescence. You are enough. You belong here. You're completely loved. You are so completely lovable. And your goal in life is to believe that.
And here's Melissa Doberstein, Program Director of the National Leadership Academy, talking about the goals of the program.
To really institute critical thinking skills, decision making in this area of gray, that decisions aren't black and white, there's this element of gray in the middle, and we're guiding our students to help make those critical decisions.
For PSN News, I'm Hunter Holbert.
Penn State received its 2nd consecutive National Higher Education Excellence and Diversity Award from Insight and Diversity magazine last Tuesday. Penn State was chosen along with 82 other institutions based on diversity and inclusion initiatives and its commitment to embrace diversity. The university will be recognized in November issue of the magazine, which is the oldest and largest diversity-focused publication in higher education. The award is the only one of its kind, recognizing colleges and universities for outstanding diversity and inclusion efforts.
We'll be right back with an interview with this year's homecoming MCs after this.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
As you've probably heard, this week is homecoming here at Penn State, and I had the chance to sit down and talk to this year's MCs, David Gaddy and Sammy Golay. Take a look. Thank you. What was the process about, David, to become this year's MCs?
It was actually a really unique and kind of exciting process. Sammy and I both filled out an application through homecoming, and the interview kind of ran as we did some speaking with the captains and then did a small recording. They put our recording live on YouTube, and we went up for student vote for 3 days.
The people's choice. People's choice.
Absolutely.
Sammy, what do you offer that's different than every other candidate?
I think I brought a lot of enthusiasm, and having it be my senior year, I knew I wanted to go out with a bang and make one last contribution to the Penn State community as a student before transitioning to alumni. And it's crazy that a group of students actually put together one of the largest homecoming parades in the country. So I just wanted to be a part of it and to contribute, like I said.
What will you be involved in for the homecoming events?
There's a variety of events throughout the week. We have the Best of Penn State Carnival, past to present, the homecoming ice cream social, obviously the parade, East Hall's residence celebration. So there's a lot of fun events that we get to go and have just kind of like MC and talk to the people and really interact with various homecoming volunteers and Penn State students alike.
That's great. And what does homecoming mean to you guys?
To me, homecoming basically covers, or I guess encompasses, the entire tradition and history of Penn State, and it really connects the past of Penn State with the present and makes us really hopeful for our future.
Yeah, I definitely find homecoming as a method for me to give back to a university that's given so much to its students, and I find it really invigorating, with all the tradition and spirit of the Penn State student body, and being able to just to have this honor and position where I get to nurture that in such a fun way.
Well, I'm looking forward to all these fun events, and best of luck with everything this week.
Thank you.
Homecoming continues all this week with a parade on Friday afternoon and a football game on Saturday.
What's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Good evening, Penn State. This is student meteorologist Faith Eretz here with your campus weather service forecast for September 22nd. We'll start out here by taking a look at our weather headlines. As you may know, this past weekend was the last day of summer, so we'll be saying a great end to that season here with a beautiful autumn week with sunny skies and those classic autumn chilly nights, so stay tuned to hear more about that. We'll start out right now by taking a look at your 7-day forecast. Like I said, we'll be seeing a beautiful week with very sunny skies, which is quite boring for a meteorologist, but great news for everybody else. High temperatures, as you can see here, will be starting around 68 tomorrow, will be the high we'll see. And by the weekend, those temperatures will rise into the mid and even high 50s for this weekend. We will be seeing an absolutely glorious homecoming weekend this year. And I'd like to draw your attention, though, to these low temperatures we will be seeing overnight. Temperatures at night in classic autumn fashion will be getting down into the mid to high 40s even during some school nights this week. So make sure if you are out at night that you dress very warm, because those can be some pretty surprising temperatures once you're out there. I'd also like to draw your attention to Friday night here. We have our homecoming parade starting at 6 p.m. And although that will start while the sun is still up, once the sun sets, temperatures will drop pretty quickly down into those mid and low 50s, so make sure you bring a sweatshirt out to that game because you would not like to get caught in that cold. We know everyone's favorite part of this homecoming weekend will, of course, be our game versus Northwestern here in Beaver Stadium. We have a noon kickoff, which is perfect for this type of weather because we will not see those chilly temperatures once the sun sets. Just this glorious 75-degree high for Saturday with bright sunny skies. So even if you don't make it out to the football game this weekend, make sure you do get outside in some way, because it might be the last good weather we see for a while. And from the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Faith Eretz. Have a great week.
Would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Hello everyone, I'm Nicole Barrows with this week's Sports Wrap-Up. This past Saturday was a special one in Happy Valley as the Penn State football team had its first home game since the sanctions were lifted. Reporter Brendan May has more from Beaver Stadium.
Coming off their dramatic 13-10 victory over new conference rival Rutgers, Penn State looks to continue the winning streak against UMass. And this is an even more important game for Penn State football. This is the first home game since the sanctions were lifted. Sam Ficken got the Nittany Lions off to a great start here, nailing a field goal early in the first quarter to give Penn State a 3-0 lead. Bill Belton said, "Ficken, 3 points is nice, but 7 is just a little bit better." Takes his pitch from Christian Ackenberg, breaks through defenders, and scores for the touchdown. And Penn State just simply wouldn't look back. Their defense made sure that they had locked this one down, registering a key sack of UMass to set up some great field position for the ensuing drive. And Penn State did not waste that drive. Zach Zwinak told his friend Belton, "Hey, I'm the power rusher here." He scores on the close touchdown to give the Nittany Lions a big lead in this one, and they just simply wouldn't relinquish it. To put the icing on the cake, Christian Ackenberg finds his best friend Deshaun Hamilton, which would set up yet another Zach Winak touchdown. The Nittany Lions would hold on to beat UMass by a score of 48-7. This win brings Penn State to 4-0 on the year. From Beaver Stadium, I'm Brendan May.
The number 3 Penn State women's volleyball team captured the Alumni Classic title this past weekend with straight-set victories over Eastern Illinois, DePaul, University of Illinois Chicago, and East Carolina. Senior Nia Grant and freshman Simone Lee led the offense with 10 kills each against Eastern Illinois on Friday. Penn State swept past DePaul later that night with 9 kills from freshman Allie Franti. With the victory, head coach Russ Rose moved to first place on the NCAA Division I all-time wins list. The Nittany Lions defeated UIC Saturday morning with an offense fueled by redshirt junior Ayanna Whitney, who had 13 kills. With their final win against East Carolina, Penn State will begin Big Ten play against number 4 Wisconsin on Wednesday. The Penn State women's soccer team dominated this past Friday, defeating Ohio State 5-1. The 8th-ranked Nittany Lions got on the board within the first 2 minutes thanks to a goal from Franny Krause. Sophomore Selena Williford's first career goal doubled Penn State's lead in the 26th minute. The Buckeyes opened the second half with a goal in the first 54 seconds, but the Lions responded with a goal off a free kick to bring the score to 3-1. Krause and Raquel Rodriguez both found the back of the net in Penn State's 3rd consecutive Big Ten win. The annual Mac Brady Scholarship Soccer game took place on Sunday, ending with a 1-0 win for Penn State against Ohio State. Kyle McDonald's goal broke the scoreless tie that lasted 63 minutes. Number 10-ranked Penn State outshot the Buckeyes by a 22-6 margin. Goalie Andrew Wolverton continued his streak of not allowing a single goal this season, making 3 saves. The win brings the undefeated Nittany Lions to 6-0. The Penn State field hockey team opened the Big Ten Conference with the game against number 18 Michigan this past Friday, but fell to the Wolverines 3-2 in overtime. Sophomore Emily Errett registered a career-high 3 points, tallying a goal and an assist in the contest. Michigan was down by 2 after goals from Taylor Herold and Jenna Christmer, but began to answer at the start of the second half. Heading into overtime, the number 6 Nittany Lions were down a player after being issued a yellow card at the end of regulation. Penn State moved to 5-2 overall. And that's all for this week's sports. PSN News will be right back after this.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me? You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
As mentioned before, Penn State's homecoming week kicked off last night with a dance competition and a free concert from Matt and Kim. Do you have any photos from homecoming to share with us? Tweet them at us all week at PSN News.
And that does it for us here at PSN News tonight for September 22nd, 2014. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to check us out on Twitter at PSN News.
Make sure to watch us every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Have a good night, and thank you for watching.